Redbeard the pink wears a little pink coat. He crosses pink moats on a little pink boat. He rides by pink oats on a little pink goat and strokes his big red beard. What's up, internet? Redbeard the pink here, facing the struggle, hustling every day, out there grinding, making that paper and keeping it real. Decided to kick on the camera and do some random vlog filming today. Oh, no. I know what I need to do. First off, I need to give a shout out to a chap from Twitter known as Andy Wiseman. He was my 100th Twitter follower. He's a chap from Stanton, right here in town, but he neglected to appear on the vlog episode. He said no thanks, which is fine. That's entirely alright. I appreciate the follow, nevertheless. Anyway, next, I would like to give a shout out to one of my haters. That's right, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, Redbeard the Pink has his own haters. So shout out to one of my haters. There's this guy on YouTube, name of Zendrius, with an X. And, normally I wouldn't try to publicize this kind of thing. There's this guy online, and what he's doing is he's taking blurbs from street magic performance, like televised in YouTube street magic performance primarily, and he is challenging people to reveal how it's done and insisting that it is done because these performers are consorting with devils. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, devils. Okay? We're talking about folks like Chris Angel, like Dynamo, like Darren Brown, Justin Flom. Yes, he thinks they're consorting with demonic forces. And he splices in this televangelist footage of this guy who's like, oh, well, you know, your psychic will say things about Bill, and people are always saying, oh, only Bill could have known that, and the guy says, oh, no, he didn't. The spirits around Bill knew it as well. I think it's bad enough. There are people who try to take advantage of people, who will use a magician's methods, conjuring tricks, to convince members of the public that they have magical powers, to various ends, for monetary gain. Those people are charlatans. They're frauds, and that is psychic and spiritual and emotional fraud. It doesn't bring any sort of lasting comfort, and a lot of magicians and scientists and skeptics are very vocal against it. I'm sick of this stuff. Like I said, psychic fraud is bad enough. It's even worse to try and create paranormal and psychic fraud where there is none. Where somebody is clearly just playing a character for the sake of entertaining people on television and on the internet. That is insidious, it's stupid, and I want to hold it up to ridicule for the public eye. I mean, I personally, I'm a magician, so I'm kind of offended by it. It's like, do you think that I use demon magic? I mean, these are mind-reading tricks, okay, but it's stuff like, we're talking classic magic tricks, stuff like spirit slates. We're talking about stuff that almost looks like magic store gimmicks where you're like shrinking down an iPhone and then dropping it in a bottle and then blowing it up again. But it's just... And this guy is convinced that powers from beyond are accomplishing these things, and it's just... grinds my gears, internet. You know what? I'm gonna show you. I filmed myself reading somebody's mind. I'm gonna put this up here, and I want you to decide whether or not I have demonic powers. I was in the park recently, and I filmed myself reading some people's minds, and I'm gonna give you two versions of this video. The first one is going to be the TV magician edit, but then I'm going to show you the expanded routine. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the same trick twice. That's a violation of one of the principles of magic, but I personally consider those to be artistic principles rather than moral absolutes. But yeah, anyway, so here's my mind-reading trick. You guys ready for it? What's your name, sir?
Logan.
Logan, I want you to think of a time when you had a favorite story. I want you to think of some of the characters in the story.
Alright.
You can pick your favorite one, you can pick one that you just remember really well, somebody that had a trait that stuck out to you or whatever. So you've got this character fixed in your mind. It's not, one of the characters had a very hard sounding name to match his environment, kind of an icy. There's a hard sound at the beginning, and there's a hard sound at the end, like a G or a K. And in the middle, there's more of a liquid syllable, like an L or an R. But I just give this really this caveman or orc name.
It's like a Golag or a Golag. Gorak?
Oh my god! Okay, yes.
Now, I will tell you a few things about that. First of all, there are no stooges, okay? A spectator is holding the camera during pretty much all of my public filmings these days, because I go out by myself. And I do not have psychic or supernatural powers, nor do I consort with devils. Here's the expanded routine. This is the kind of thing that TV and YouTube performers do on a regular basis. They will do a routine and then they will snip out bits that are crucial to the method but not necessary to the story of the trick, and will intensify the delivery of the trick for a television YouTube audience. And it looks a little something like this.
I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names. What's your name again?
Dakota.
Dakota?
Coda Bearworks.
Coda Bearworks. Alright, well, it's nice to meet you, Coda. What I want you to do is think back to your childhood. Think back in particular to a time when you had a favorite story. And then think of some of the characters in the story. Write the name of your character on that line. I'm going to turn my back while you do this so that I cannot see. I'll go ahead and take that from you, and I'll take the pen. The way the mind works, essentially, is it's kind of like a pool of water. You've got thoughts and emotions rippling and surging and flowing around. You also have fixed destinations that organize all of that into a personality. Things like your ideas, your memories, your beliefs. And what I've had you do here, by thinking of the name of a character from one of your memories, and then writing it down, is I've actually had you write me a ticket to a particular destination within your mind. So every destination has a journey, every journey has a story. So this story is going to begin at a ticket window, with a ticket man who's going to tear this in half. Alright, he's going to hand you 2 ticket stubs. These are so that Indiana Jones does not throw you out of the aircraft later on. I can see an island coming into view. This should be the island of the memory of your story world. So you're thinking of one character from the story. And it's kind of a fantastical world. I get the idea that it's a fairy tale land, but it's not from any particular fairy tale. It's, you might run into the gingerbread man, you might run into the 3 blind mice, but the story is about one character in particular, and he doesn't appear in any traditional fairy tales, but he appears in a number of hit films. You're thinking of a big green fella with kind of antenna, weird antenna-shaped ears. You're thinking Shrek, aren't you? Oh, donkey. Ta-da! It's my mind-reading trick.
I happen to think that's a better version of the routine myself. There's a little more patter, there's a little more of a story and a flow to it. The first one probably presents better to a video audience, and that's fine, you know. Video magicians are trying to impress an audience that's watching their stuff on video. And to some people that's magic, and to some people it isn't. And that's fine, but what it isn't, it's not paranormal. It's not magical, it's not real. That sounds strange coming from the wizard, coming from the guy in the pointy hat, but seriously, internet magic is not real. Sorry to burst your bubble if you thought it was. Sorry if any of the kids out there are upset. Now, it can be fun to pretend it's real. It can be fun to imagine that it's real. I mean, if you think about it, it kind of is real. Technology, science, these are the ways that we figured out to harness the forces of the universe into a desired end. There's an object on my ceiling right now that spins on its own all the time. See that thing? That's a ceiling fan. That does that because I throw a switch on a wall. If this were D&D, that would be a magical item, okay? It doesn't even need a magic word to activate, so it would be a rather expensive one. Psychic phenomenon, all that crap. It's not real. And he's got multiple episodes of this thing. Now, I know a lot of people are going to get on here and be like, oh, well, you're just giving him more publicity by getting on here and doing this thing. I think awareness is important in stamping out bad ideas, because there are people that don't realize that people are being deceived in this way, you know? These humans, Lord. Yeah, I like that. Alright, let's try it again.